I realize it's hard to do this shit on your own. And sometimes we need to know that we have someone else in our corner rooting for us and coaching us on to become the best versions of ourselves. So the Perspective Podcast is fuel for your mind and creative grind. Each week, my guests and I provide the skills for thinking bigger, overcoming adversity, and making an impact with your work. What's going on? You're listening to episode 129 of the Perspective Podcast. I'm your host, Scotty.D.Russell of Perspective Collective. I'm here to help you build a killer side hustle and elevate your brand outside your day job. At the end of each episode, I plug a listener of the week, so stick around to figure out how you can get a shout out on a future episode in the show notes as well as in the newsletter. Today, we have a short and punchy one, just like last week, and the goal is just to give you all the good feels. And I want this one to inspire, motivate, empower you, to make you feel like you're on the right path, even though some days it feels like it couldn't be further from the truth. This is going to sound random, but today's mission is to convince you that you're not a worthless turd, that you're crazy if you do talk to yourself, and that it's okay to have rituals, okay? Rituals are important. And the whole motto today is, you got this. So if you happen to stick around to the end of each episode, you know I sign off with, keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and keep creating. You got this. And this phrase is something I've used literally at the end of each episode since episode 1, over 100 episodes ago, but it originated from having these internal dialogues within my head. And I promise you, I'm not crazy. Again, it's okay to talk to yourself. And it's no secret, I talk about this often, that I'm a big believer in affirmations and positive self-talk. And the inner critic in me is alive and well. It's thriving every day. So I have to do everything in my part to shout over that inner critic that wants to tear me down. It's a draining influence. And if you're like me, one of the biggest things you struggle with is the comparison trap. There's always going to be someone who wants what you have. There's always going to be you wanting what someone else has, and someone like a financial situation, a lot of followers, clientele, physical appearance. You know, they got a nice body. I want that too, especially now that it's summertime. So you got to get your shit in order. But you see someone else is just, you know, they have what you want. And it's always going to be like that. But when you operate from this mindset of lack instead of abundance, this really can fuck you up. Comparison over the years has robbed me of so much joy in my life and has severely damaged my confidence on more than one occasion. So you got this is the motto. It's my battle cry to fight back and keep pushing forward along my creative path. If it's the words that I say when I need to get back up to the plate each day and keep swinging. And you got this is the motto. It's my battle cry to keep fighting and keep pushing forward along my creative path. It's the words I need to get back up to the plate each day and keep swinging, even though it feels like all I'm doing is striking out. And that's why it's also become my ritual fuel. And once I began tapping into this potential that I found, you know, this was around the age of 24 through 26, somewhere in there where I ended up falling in love with drawing again, analog, and started posting my work on Instagram, is when I really started to discover myself, discover what I love, who I could be. And social media was really great in helping me discover this. And that's where this ritual of you got this became, I would say, became my pre-game seance in a sense, before anything that required a little bit of courage. So for things like, I still play like rec league basketball and sand volleyball in the summers, you know, so that's like my hype man for my sports background. You know, you got this is something like, let's go, you got this. That was always something that was big for me. Or when I'm in the gym and doing like a heavy set or some intense cardio session, you know, I have to push myself by just looking at myself in the mirror and just saying, you got this. Before speeches or before I teach workshops, you know, going on stage or going in front of a crowd of people, you got this is always my mantra. Or if I'm sending a proposal to a client, in my mind, I'm already speaking, acting like I've already landed this client, or they accepted my proposal or accepted my bid. And I tell myself, you got this once I hit send. You know, I'll say it to myself throughout the day as well. And even when I'm heading to a full plate of work at the day job, like I've been getting smoked at the day job right now, trying not to drown all summer. And well, all summer as in May and into June so far, but it feels like I'm drowning, but I have to give myself a little pep talk of, yo, Scotty, you got this. Get your shit together and just get through it. Just keep swimming, get through it. Everything will be fine. You won't drown. And then even something like when I'm about to put that first stroke of paint on a wall for a mural, in my mind, I got this. And one of the most memorable ones was when my son was born, August 27, 2018. I remember going to labor. I did Bradley classes with my wife, so I was playing that role of the coach. And once like she started going to labor at home and throughout the day, all day, I'm just like, okay, you got training, you went to classes, you got the books, you did your research, you got this. And we got through it together. And my wife, kicked ass in labor. We had a very smooth delivery process. She did that shit all natural too. But here I'm in the background, like, you got this and I got this, and we did it together. So that's what I mean. It's become like a ritual fuel for me. And in the beginning, when I started talking to myself or when I was saying these things, it didn't have a profound impact on me right away. However, it's when I continued to drill it in my head, continue to tell myself each day or say it each week in the podcast that I believe it more and more. And now it's just become this grounding element. And the more I say it, the more I believe it. And the more it helps propel me to, the next level of where my creative grind, my creative career is going. And it gives me that confidence that I'm going to figure it out just like I always do. And I always do, it seems like. So that's what you've got this means. And this is where, it sounds a bit random, but at the end of the day, I want to convince you that you are not a worthless turd. And me dropping you got this at the end of each episode, okay, it's meant to empower you. It's meant to light you up with a dose of inspiration and motivation to just go kick ass and take on the rest of your day, the rest of your week, the rest of your month, the rest of your year. And realize, I realize it's hard to do this shit on your own. And sometimes we need to know that we have someone else in our corner rooting for us and coaching us on to become the best versions of ourselves. So, some days I can light my own fire, often I can, but it's the messages from people like you who also tell me you got this. You say it back to me, you say my mantra back to me, and man, that really fires me up. So I'm hoping that I can sit in your corner and you can take my words to heart and help those propel you forward. And that's why I do the podcast. That's the person I want to be, is the person in your corner when the comparison trap is getting the best of you, because I know how helpful it is to have someone in my corner when comparisons get the best of me. So again, I want to drill this in your head so you can use it as fuel to drown out your own inner critic who's trying to convince you that you're a worthless turd, because like I said, you're not a worthless turd. You're a priceless gem in the shape of a glorious slice of pizza, and you were meant to do incredible things. And I truly believe this. It sounds corny, sounds extra cheesy because of the pizza pun, but just these are the things I truly believe in. I used to feel uncomfortable talking about it, but again, the more I talk about it, the more I believe in it, the more I keep emitting these positive vibes to everyone else. I hope you can start believing it too. It's hard to discover your worth when you don't continually show up and dig deep to reveal those potential gifts that are laying dormant within you. So my encouragement to you is just to keep digging deep and don't be afraid to shower yourself with positive self-talk. And who cares if other people think you're crazy? I'm not going to think you're crazy. Don't think you're crazy. If it's going to help you become that best version of yourself, get through the day, make some plays in your life, make shit happen, then, who gives a shit what anybody else thinks? I told you, it's going to be a short and quickie one. I would love to know what you thought of this episode. You're not a worthless turd. You got this. Let me know what you think by sharing this on your Instagram stories, taking a screenshot, or listen to the video while you're working in the background. Tag me and I will give you a reshare back, especially if you're drawing while listening to this background. Let me get some extra eyes on your work. It can go a long way. And share it with a friend or share it with your following. Anybody who, needs that little pep talk too to get through the day. Shower them with some "you got this" and tell someone else that they're not a worthless turd, and let's see what they say. Real quick, I want to keep providing you value, and that's why I want to plug the Side Hustlers War Chest. It is your all-in-one toolkit for building a killer creative side hustle and elevating your brand outside your day job. If you're just starting out or struggling to take your creative grind to the next level, go to sidehustlerswarchest.com and get 6 free resources on me. Link is also in the YouTube description. And if you want to support the growth of this show, the best way to do that is by subscribing and leaving a rating and review in Apple Podcasts or in iTunes. Not only does this help the show climb up the charts in the arts design category, but more importantly, it gives you a permanent shout out as podcast family as listener of the week. And this week's listener of the week goes to Nacho Rev from Argentina. They state, I'm a third year industrial design student, and lately I was in a funk in regards to creative work and working on my side hustle. But episodes 101 and 109 really helped me put things into perspective, pun intended, love it. Most design related podcasts don't usually click with me, but this one did, so I'll definitely be tuning in from now. And that's all it is. It's got to be simple like that. Drop a little nugget and let me give you a shout out back. And also just plug your Instagram handle right there so I can give you a little extra plug. And as I sign off, I got to give a huge thank you to my executive assistant, Paige Garland, my video specialist, Colton Bacher, as well as my homeboy, Nick Jenkins of Bluka, for all the dope theme music you hear on this show. And as I sign off, I want to continue to encourage you to keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and keep creating. You got this, and you are not a worthless turd. Thanks again for listening. It'd be awesome if you took the time to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let the comment below so we can connect. Again, if you want to catch a shout out as a future listener of the week, make sure you subscribe to the show on iTunes and give it a rating and review.